welcome to Friday Nights with Emma from Swift Quilting Company. How are you all tonight? Hope everybody is good and has stayed dry today. What a horrible weather. It's awful. Anyway, hi guys. If you're watching, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, little heart, let me know you're there. If I go away, if it cuts out, which it shouldn't, just hit refresh and the video will come back up again. So hi. Tonight, oh yes, had a great day at Stitch Festival today. If you guys get to go, lots to see, lots of interesting stuff, lots of lovely workshops. Oh hi. Yeah, go say hi to Louisa Galt has a stall very close to the entrance. If you go through the entrance and then to the right immediately, it's down one of those little lanes. So definitely go see Louisa. Jenny Jackson was there helping her out today, so maybe she'll be there again tomorrow. No, Jenny Jackson's going to be there today. Actually, there's going to be a few ex-sewing quarter people there tomorrow for sure, so you'll see them walking around. So if you're going over the next couple of days, I think John Scott's going to be there too, so keep your eyes out. I'm done. Today was my only day, so... Oh, hi everybody. I'm missing everybody. Oh, hi Terry. Hi Pam. Hi Hillary. Hi Sharon. Hi Pam. Hi Joanne. Hope everybody's all okay and doing well. So, what am I going to talk about tonight? I'm finally getting back to the temperature quilt and putting the sashing. Now that we're getting to the point where we're going to have 2 months under our belts, what do we do once we've got all of our bits put together? So, I've been adding sashing to my London, you can see my London quilt. Hi Dawn. Hi Shirley. Oh, hi Shirley. Okay, so after I'm done tonight, I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine. I'm going to put a podcast on and your quilt is going on the frame. So yeah, I'll send you a picture when it's up. I won't start quilting tonight, but it will be on the frame tonight. Oh, hi Christine. Hi Lorna. Hi Maggie. Hi Ruth. Hi Diana. Hi Sarah. Hi. So, sashing. Putting on sashing and putting on borders is very similar, if not the same. I always say there's no right way. Oh, hi Maggie. There's no right or wrong way to do anything in quilting, only the way that works for you. You're welcome, Shirley. In this case, there is a wrong way, but there are 2 right ways of doing it. One is the technically correct way, and the other way will help you avoid the pitfalls of doing it wrong without going to all the faff and effort of doing it the technically correct way. Right. So, oh, hi Kathleen, hi Brenda. So sashing and borders. The problem you can run with sashing and borders, especially the sashing that's the long strips of sashing. The sashing that is just a strip that you put in between your blocks is a lot less problematic. Oh, hi Barbara. Hi Joan. So the sashing that you just cut into strips, short strips to put in between your blocks, that it can be a little bit tricky, but because it's a shorter length in general, it's not going to be such of a problem. So you don't need to have to worry about that one so much, although you can use this technique to do that as well. What I'm talking about are the long strips of sashing. So if you're thinking of your temperature quilt, I haven't done it on this one, but on my Tallington one, oh sorry, you can't see me. On my Tallington one, I've got one whole strip of flying geese per month. So there's going to be like 31, this month will be 29 or 30 flying geese per strip. So yeah, it's a pretty long strip. So I'm going to want long pieces of sashing to go in between those strips. And what can happen with long pieces of sashing, long strips of sashing, or with borders, is that you can end up with them being wavy. So if the strip or the piece that you're, say for instance your flying geese strip or the edge of your quilt where it's pieced, if that's shorter than the strip that you're adding for the border or the sashing, that's how you end up with the wavy borders. I hope that makes sense. Oh, hi Heather. Oh, nearly missed it. Yep, you're with us. You're with us. So how do you do it correctly? All right. So the very technical correct way of doing it is, so if I take my piece, you physically measure the piece of the block or the strip or the side of the quilt that you want to add your sashing or border to. You measure it, and then you go and you measure your strip or your border strip, and you cut that to exactly the same size, and then you sew them together. You can pin them, which is recommended. If you've got a long strip or a long border, you do pin. I'd say if I've already measured it and I know they're going to be the same, I do it about 6 inches, so about a hand's width apart, so not a lot of pins basically. Now for this I did measure it, but this is only about what, 12 inches, so it's really easy for me to just put it under my ruler, measure how long it was, cut the strips to fit. If you're talking about a quilt, even a cot quilt or king size, either one, it's going to be just as problematic. It's going to be harder to actually accurately measure that side. I mean, it's not impossible. If you're very careful and you do lay it out flat, you can measure the whole thing and then measure your oh, hi Jennifer, hi Belinda. You can measure your quilt, and then you can measure the strip to fit basically. But there's an easier way and just as correct way of doing it. And what you do is, instead of measuring everything, what you do is you cut a strip that is going to be a little bit longer than what you need, and then you lay it out flat. So you lay out either your flying geese strip or your side of your quilt. Just lay it out flat on a table, not stretched, nice and pressed. Oh, sorry, I'm wobbling. Nice and pressed. I'm going to unplug this because I've been using my phone all day. I had to put it in charge. There we go. That was better. You won't be wobbly anymore. Sorry, guys. I wanted to make sure it was charged so I don't disappear with my phone going dead. Anyway, that's all done. So going back to it. So how you do it. Right. You lay out your quilt on a tabletop. I sometimes do it on the floor. Not necessarily on carpeted floor, but on where I've got my laminate floor. I'll lay it out there. And make sure that it's very well pressed so it lies flat. And then what I do is I lay either my strip or my border strip on top of it directly, and I pin it a lot. So these pins are about 3 inches apart. So you pin all the way across to make sure that your strip is the same length as your bottom piece, either your quilt side or your flying geese strip. And then so pin. What that does, and why you get wavy borders if you don't do that. So the reason you get wavy borders is, if I show you, this is a strip that's been cut width of fabric. If I show you, I'm pulling it apart, so it's got quite a bit of stretch in it basically. And if you remember from, I think maybe last week, I'm sure I said it at one point, when you're sewing without a walking foot, just your regular foot on the top or your 1/4 inch foot, your feed dogs feed your fabric underneath. Now, whatever fabric is underneath, so for instance, if you've got your quilt and your strip on top, those underneath is going to be fed through ever so slightly quicker than what's on top. And that can cause the fabric to shift a little bit. So if you imagine, if I sewed this way, so with my strip underneath, my strip that I've cut is going to be against my feed dogs. If I haven't pinned it, when it goes through the sewing machine, those feed dogs are going to gather up that strip a little bit more than what quilt top I've got. So then I end up with not quite gathered border, but it does end up wavy. So it's a combination of that, combination of sometimes if you stretch one or the other, then they won't fit together very well. So I'm telling you from experience, because I have done this. I've thought, it's fine, I don't need to pin, I don't need to measure, I'm just going to take a strip of border and then sew it together on machine and it will go all together. Yeah, it does, but then you end up with wavy borders, and things can only be quilted out to a certain point. So I think those did kind of get quilted out, but you can still tell they're wavy. But that was one of my early quilts. But this is the easiest way I find of doing it. So when you pin it, when that fabric is going through your machine, with the feed dogs and everything, what the pinning does is it kind of keeps everything in place, so that one side can't really feed through quicker than the other, or if it does, there's enough of enough pins in it, so if it does gather a little bit between that pin and that pin, it really doesn't make that much difference, because it's only got that much leeway to do any gathering in, because then it catches up by the time it reaches here. Does that make sense? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing your comments. Oh, hi Laurie. How was the show? Quilt show. Yes, I did talk about it at the beginning. You have to go back to the beginning. It was really good. We still get to see everybody. It was really crowded. The afternoon was much better. Oh, but I do have to tell you, if you do go, so we had lunch there, probably about 1 o'clock, which is not a bad time actually. I can definitely recommend the Prosecco. Oh, the Prosecco was so good. Very nice Prosecco. And the chicken satay bowl, very good. Both very good, both highly recommended, both very tasty. And they told us when we went to, where do we have it? It's called the Skinny Kitchen, and you'll see it if you're going to the show. It's literally, as you go into the show, the Skinny Kitchen is kind of right there. It's right in the front of the building. And so we went, and one, the waiters are kind of cute. Can I say that? And two, they told us immediately, like, oh, it's going to be like a 25-minute wait to get your food. And we're like, well, that's fine. We got all day. Doesn't matter. We're just here to chill out. And yeah, they lied. It was much quicker than that. So I think they warn you 25 minutes, like worst case scenario, it's going to be 25 minutes, but it was much, much quicker. So yeah, don't get put off by if they tell you like, oh, it's going to be like ages for your food. No, it really wasn't. It was pretty quick, and it was delicious. So anyway, enough waffling. Hi Karen. Hi Alison. Oh, lovely to see you and listen to you. Ah, thank you. I'm hoping it's all making sense, because yeah, I hope it's not like blah blah blah, and that it's all making sense. And I will do some sewing in a minute, I promise. Oh, hi Shirley. Oh, are your pins set? Oh, my pins are set at an angle. Okay. That's just because, maybe it's because of the Prosecco? No. So really what they ought to be, if I do it properly, they ought to be at a 90-degree angle to your sew line. So I'll just readjust them. I've put them at an angle because it's, yeah, I was being lazy, I'll be honest with you. So you want them at a 90-degree angle. The reason we want them at a 90-degree angle is, again, when you pin, and I'll show you with this one. When you pin sideways like this, like we tend to do when we're dressmaking, or we've been taught to do, when you pin like that, the fabric does shift a little bit. The top and the bottom fabric shifts ever so slightly, and that can cause, especially if you're piecing, that can cause you to have not quite accurate points and corners. So pinning this way along the same direction of the sew line, it tends to shift the fabric a little bit, I find. So I always pin at a 90-degree angle to the sew line that I'm going to make, and that helps to keep that top and bottom fabric where that sewing is going to be exactly on top of each other. It doesn't matter so much the other way around. So yeah, so that's how they ought to be. I'll move this one around. So it's there. So you can see this is my little bit of overhang. So there we go. That's the way, oh, that's the way they ought to be, Shirley. You can put that at an angle. It doesn't make that much difference. As long as it's not too much. As long as they're not directly along the sew line. So yeah. Oh, sorry, question. Hi Joanne, it's making sense. I have done some of these things before but never knew why. Ah, technical reasons. I'm one of those people that can't just follow instructions. I like to know, but why? But why do we do that? So I'm glad that's helping. Oh, no, I know you weren't being critical. I know you were just, yeah, I know it's a question, but it was me being lazy and not showing proper technique. So yeah, that's the way they should be. Okay, now I'm stop waffling and I'll actually do some sewing. I've done the other. See, I've done the other one exactly the same way. So that's going to be in my overhang that I will then square off and trim off. Oh, the other reason, before I go on and on, that to measure or to pin that. So if I went with the measurements of what it should be, so I have got, if I open this up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these are 2, so 7, 8 flying geese going across my square. So those flying geese should be 1.5 inches wide. So what was that, did I say? 8 flying geese, so 8 times 1.5, plus don't forget you'll still have your 1/2 inch seam allowance. So in theory my block here should be 12.5 inches wide. When I measured it, it was 12.25, so that's why I actually did cut my strips to 12.25. Now, no matter how accurate we are, there's going to be some seam allowance. I mean, there's no points missing, so there'll be something that in that space where my seam allowance has been a little bit too big because I've lost a 1/4 of an inch over that strip, basically. That's why we measure it. So even if you're following a pattern and it tells you to cut your border strips to a certain length, what I would recommend is actually measuring your quilt top before you do that to verify that it's going to be it's going to be long enough, because you don't want to cut it too short. If what they're telling you is longer than what you need, then fine and dandy, you're good to go. But just bear in mind that that length that they're telling you may not actually, you might have a little bit of overhang, basically. It might not be exactly the size of your quilt because of seam allowances, basically. Hi Carol. Oh, hi Mum. How are the macarons? Yeah, so I stopped and got macarons from Mum because it's one of her favourite things. And I got to tell you because it was kind of funny. So I stopped at Mum's on the way back and I dropped it off and she's like, ooh, what's this? Oh, what's this? And so she started opening the pretty little box and the wrapping, and she's like, oh, it's sweets. And then she was like, oh, stop, and I'm like, oh, but it's macarons. And she's like, oh, macarons! Oh, I've got to get them now. So yeah, she was quite excited. Once she learned they were macarons, she was, yeah, it was funny. Anyway, had to share. Oh, but if you haven't had any, I recommend. They are expensive, so they are a treat, but they are so delicious. La Durée macarons. I've only ever found them in London, but there's a little shop at St Pancras. If you go towards the underground in St Pancras, there's a nice little shop in there, and the guy, I don't know whether it's a rule that they have to, but the guy who serves you even has a French accent. So I don't know. I think it might be like a hiring criteria. But yeah, they're so delicious. They are the smoothest and the nicest flavour, I swear. Anyway, enough waffling. Oh, perfect. Oh, hi Terry. Oh, you just had a cuppa. Good. Yeah, Dawn, they're delicious, aren't they? Oh, Dawn had her first one today. Anyway, I'll get some sewing done now. Take my pins out so I don't go over them. Pin. pin, pin, there we go. There, so that's my strip. We'll press it. That's my strip. So nice and even, not too wavy. If you end up with wavy, especially sashing, when you're sewing sashing to other strips, if you end up with wavy, what you could end up with is, if it's too long on this side, then you're not going to be able to sew it to your next strip along. But anyway, that's it. So there's that. Now, an extra tip. Oh, hi Mandy, how are you doing? Extra tip for flying geese, or actually for anything that you're doing sashing, because we actually did this on the attic windows quilt as well. So if I'm doing this, my next strip is going to be, which I marked my day one so I can keep track. I will trim that off, so ignore that bit. But this is the beginning of my next strip. I haven't done it in the right order, as in this one should have been shorter. So this is going to be the long strip. So there. So I'm going to do that one like that. You can see roughly on there. So what I've got is, you're going to need the same number of flying geese as you've got there, so 8 in effect. So I've got I'd start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to match up, and then plus 3. So 1 is going to be covering the width of my sashing strip, and then 2, because I'm going to have another flying geese strip under here. So you're going to have 8 plus 3, and then on the next round that I'll have, 8 plus 6, so I'll have 14 plus 6, I'll have 20 on the next one that goes the next set around. Does that make sense? So I'll have that one, and then my next one is the short one, which will fit. So that one is 8 plus 2, so just 10, and that fits exactly. So this strip plus another strip with the same number, I'll sew one to this side, one to this side, and then I'll put my 2 longer strips this side and on the other side. Now when I do that, let me go here. This is a short one, so I've got the short side. I'll show you what I've done. So I want to make sure that my flying geese actually match up across the sashing. So what I've done, if you can see, I've marked on this side of the sashing where my pins should be. Oh, hi Alison, lovely to see you with my left-handed sewing, left-handed machine. It's an optical illusion, sorry Alison. It's because of the phone camera. I'm using my phone camera, and instead of actually showing you what you would actually see, it reverses it. Does that make sense? So everything is opposite. So I'm actually right-handed, sorry. But my daughter's lefty. Oh, hi Jeanette. Oh yes, I did enjoy my day, thank you. Yeah, you had to go back to the beginning because I told you all about it. And food recommendations. So if you do go, right, so where am I? Pinning. Aha, that's an overhang. So I'm going to pin right where that mark is, and I'll show you this side. So I've pinned through that mark, and on this side it aligns with the sew line on that flying geese. And you just continue that all the way along. Now, this is especially important for if you've got long flying geese strips, so that all your flying geese will actually align all the way across horizontally as well. Oh, Jeanette, you still can't cut. Oh, hopefully that physio will happen and your hands will get better. Oh, hi Teresa. Oh, hi Pam, you're a lefty. It's a lot of lefties. I've been learning, I've also have a friend who's a lefty, who's a quilter. I've been learning how to cut out lefty. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, it's an optical illusion. Oh yes, I was saying about pinning this across the sashing for your attic windows. So when we did the attic windows, we made exactly the same marks where the bottom of the blocks lined up, so that you could pin your next row, which was blocks, onto the sashing so that they would match up. I don't know if you can see. I might have to sew this. What time is it? Yeah, I might have to do this a quick sew. You might be able to see how my flying geese are matching up. It doesn't show very well that it's not sewn. Let me finish pinning. Oh, hi Becky. How are you? Have fun at the weekend? Oh, I gave recommendations for food if you can eat satay chicken. It's really good. Oh, and the Prosecco at the Skinny Kitchen is really good too. Oh, hi Jess. I can't believe, yeah, it's nearly 2 months into the quilt. I know, it's crazy. Oh, and this week I got a little bit excited because I had some cooler temperatures in London, which never happens. So I had a little bit of dark. Oh, Helen, did I press my seams open? I tend to always press to the side when I'm quilting, unless I'm doing something like sewing lots of strips together, and then I tend to press them open because I find the strips lay straighter that way. But yeah. Oh, hi Pam. Left-handed people are supposedly more creative, hence the reason for a lot of crafters are lefties. I agree with that. Pin, pin, pin. Pin, pin, pin. Ooh, that doesn't quite match. We'll see what that works out to. There we go. Come on. There we go. Sorry, I'm concentrating. Oh, hi Darren. Have you? No, of course. There's no offense. No offense, Shirley. No offense whatsoever. Okay, let's give it a go. So how is everybody doing on their temperature quilt anyway? Oh, the other thing I was going to say. So with my other one, I had an idea, because I was just going to do straight strips, wasn't I? I have an idea for setting the strips on a diagonal, going that way, instead of straight up and down. So I'll have a small strip, a longer, and all the way. I need to figure out how it's all going to work with the number of flying geese we got, but that will be something I'll work on after. So at the moment I do have them made in just the month strips, but I might have to do some unpicking and set them at a diagonal. I think that might be interesting. Oh, hi Alison. Taught myself to be, oh, I should when I broke my wrist years ago. Ah, that's handy. That is very handy. pin, 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 pin. I'll have to make it think about it a little bit more next time, because if I had been smarter, I would have done the short strip as my next row along. But as it is, I got to finish the rest of this round in order to get, or at least the other side. Yeah, I finish this round in order to get the rest of my strips on. So, oh well, live and learn. Pin. Okay, let's have a look. So this isn't pressed. Let's see if I can give it a good finger press. There, how's that? You can see how the geese are lining up along the bottom, so they're not staggered. Yeah, that's what the marking across helps with, is to line all that up. You might have to fudge a little bit here or there, but all in all, you'll have nice lined up geese. You don't want to have one strip up here or halfway up or down. It's harder to have them not match when you're doing it this way, because obviously it'll naturally want to, they'll naturally want to align. I'd say it'd be harder when you do the long strips together. You may see that one, even if it's maybe 1/8 of an inch higher or 1/4 of an inch higher, you will notice it a little bit more. So yeah. Oh. Hey, so I'm glad you like it. So that's, yes, that's my warm temperature that I was excited about. So I do need to, I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna use my scissors for this now that I've got the other side on. So there we go. That's nice and even. So that is, where's my pin? That's my day 1. So now I need to wait to get this side on, and then I can put my top row and my bottom row. What you can do, if you want to do it in this format and you don't want to wait with some loose strips hanging around until you finished that round, if I'd have been smart, what I would have done is, where's my this one? You can just sew the first strip as a short strip. So I could have just sewn it from there, to there, see, there to there. It's not working for me. And then added this on to that corner, and then the next one is the same length, and then the very last one is the longest strip. So you might have to save maybe a couple of flying geese loose, but you can just take those two and pin it to the middle until the very end. I think I might do that for the next round. I'll show you when I get to that bit. I'll show you. So yeah, so it's coming along. Let's see, what did I have? That's that one. This is this week's. So yeah, so a few darker colours in there for this week, because it got down to, I think, 8 degrees in London. Oh, even 6 maybe. But yeah, one day one day we'll have a little bit more of this, but that's not today. So yeah. Oh, hi Joanne. You might have said before, what size are you sewing your... Oh, yes, good question. Okay, so I opted to keep it very simple in that my width of sashing is the same size as a finished flying geese block. So they're 2-inch strips, so they're 1.5 inch finished. So if I lay this on here and line this up, you can see, and it helps the math because then you just have one extra, so you can see my sashing is 1 flying geese unit wide basically, so that when I add, see this is 1 flying geese unit wide, I need to add 3 or 6 flying geese to each round. There's this number plus 3, so 1 for the sashing and 2 for the next sashing, the next flying geese strip that will go along. That makes sense. Hope that makes sense. Oh, hi Edna. Oh, hi Shirley. I was thinking about the diagonal. Oh my, but it's poo. Okay, I will have to do that. I do kind of have them worked out, but not in this size of a flying geese. So I'll have to do that. And yeah, let you know. Because I don't know why I didn't think about that sooner. But yeah, so that's that. If you've got any questions, please throw them at me. But yeah, I wish I could... Can I send you a little bit further away so you can see it a little bit better, maybe? Yeah, so that's the beginning. And then this one will go on, yeah, when it's done. This is my longer one. This will go on there. It's a lot of aqua at the moment. We'll see what the next few months bring. Hopefully no more snow. But yeah. So if you don't have any questions, I think that'll be it for tonight, and I will see you next week. Have a good weekend. If you're going to the Stitch show, have fun. Yep, recommend the Prosecco at Skinny Kitchen. It's very good. The satay chicken bowl, also very good. Don't forget to say hi to Louisa Galt. Her stall is, as you go in the front entrance, go through the main hall, it is directly on the right. I think she's like 1 aisle over on the corner. So yeah, go say hi. Oh, hi Joanne. Can you put a photo up? Oh yes, I will. I'll put a picture up. Hi Pam, when are you next on TV? Oh, good one. I think it's 24th of March. Yes, it'll be with John, 24th of March. It's not technically TV, but it's TV because it's on the Crafters Companion website and or Facebook page. So yeah, I'll put lots of information about that. Definitely up. Oh, hi Julie. Hi Alison. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. So yeah, so that would be that. And then I will be, at the moment, I'm scheduled to be on Hochanda on the 15th of May. So I'll be doing that as well. And there'll be more after that. So at the moment, I'm just working furiously on patterns. I've got some panels in the works that I have ideas I'm working on. I've got quilts, another quilt that window quilts that I'm really excited about working on and getting a pattern for. Else, oh, some more hand piecing bits as well. So yeah, so at the moment I am just having fun getting all these ideas out of my brain and onto paper so that they're tangible things, not just ideas in Emma's head. So yeah. Oh, hi Post TV. Okay, it counts as TV. I'll take that. Hi Maggie. Thank you. Oh, have a great weekend. So yeah, so have fun. Please put lots of pictures of I'll put mine up on the on my Swift Quilting, but also on the Temperature Facebook group as well. Temperature Quilt Facebook group. I'll see if I can add some more bits to it. And yeah, so have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.